Gonna see if this is work.
Are
It's
you going to send
preparing
us
to
a new
live
link,
stream.
or are we in a new link on
No, you and
YouTube?
we're fine. We're
I don't know.
fine.
Troy, I don't know if
We're
I can work
fine.
this way, man.
Stop
I
it.
know.
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I told you guys if
Okay.
you know what?
Oh, live. Oh, it does say live, and then what in the world's going on? Okay, all right. We're live.
We're live, guys.
We're live.
I'm
Okay,
not
hi
seeing it.
everybody.
Oh, there we are.
Again. Hi everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Okay.
I'm the guest. I should shut up.
Oh no. No, you're the star of the show. We brought you
You're
on.
the star. Yeah,
Remember,
we brought you.
Johnny Carson and the probably nobody watching this is old enough to remember that. Johnny Carson, where he put the thing to his head. What was that? The great
The great Karna.
yeah,
the great
Karnak or something
the great
like that.
Karnak or something.
Great
Yes.
Karnak. And you just predicted the future. That's what we're here to do, everybody. Is Vince is just going to put the little card to his head and just
Right.
predict the future. It's going to
Oh,
happen.
okay. I had to move everybody. I'm sorry. It just kind of messed us up. But listen, here we are. We're gonna be over here. I just sent everybody to the new stream. We'll see how this works.
Yeah.
Up
Okay,
next,
so
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody just
So-
said smooth transition in the
Yeah.
comment. Yes.
smooth
Smooth
transition.
transition.
All right, now we're only
Yeah.
like 5 seconds behind.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Okay, beautiful.
we're
All right.
fine. So, okay, well, everyone,
Fabulous.
welcome to Pros Talking Prose. Sorry about this. This is the first time we've gone live, so I forget. Like, I'm gonna forgive myself. This is gonna be the start of a new year. You know, I'm gonna forgive
Yeah.
myself when I make mistakes. So I appreciate you
I
guys.
forgive
Thank you, Vince. Oh my gosh, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you. Troy is just never gonna forgive me. It's fine.
No,
But anyway,
you're already
yeah.
forgiven.
Oh, thanks, guys. Well, so anyway, so we're gonna just thank you, Vince.
Go and sin
By the
no
way,
more.
you would be proud to me. Proud to me.
Go
I
and
went
sin
to
no more.
I went to midnight mass for Christmas this year. It was my first time.
Did you?
Very nice.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was really great. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and talk today about the 2026 year, and we're going to keep it light. So Vince, don't get too depressing.
We just looked. Now, let me
the
just
fuck?
segue this by saying Vince and I just looked at our book blast sales. So we
You
are
looked at
depressed.
him. I didn't look at him.
I looked
Oh.
at them. There. Well, I just look at the rankings, dude. We got to run some ads. Anyway, but
Yeah.
I don't even look at him.
Don't
Yeah.
even look at it.
I-
Well,
I just did. I don't usually. This month, last month, I've been out of the world. So anyway, and everybody, if you've been watching our podcast before, you know this.
Don't
Sorry
tell
about
people
this. A
this
little.
shit, dude. That's like
segue
our
live.
private information.
it's,
Yeah, oh, I know.
we're good.
But,
We're
know,
good.
anyway.
We're amongst
You know what?
friends.
It should be like, have you seen Book Blast? They're fucking killing it.
They're amazing. Well,
They're
we're mostly
amazing.
talking to other authors.
Tell
so
them the
we have
whole
to be
world that like
somewhat
we
honest.
suck.
No,
We
no,
wanna
no,
be
no,
real.
That's
suck.
gonna help sales. Like now, everybody's gonna run out and try to buy it.
Buy our
No,
book,
no.
guys, please.
Yeah,
We don't
that,
suck.
That works.
We don't suck. This is mostly for authors. We don't suck. What's happening right now is the market's weird. Like
The market is weird.
Yeah, the publishing market and the book market is just weird. And
it
it's
is-
okay. Like, we need
It
to run
is
some
the-
ads. I think
It
it'll be
is the
great.
economy a lot of times too, guys. You got to think about Christmas. I've seen a lot of people, consumerism. Like I said, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Troy, about how consumerism trends are kind of down and people are kind of like, let's spend money on things that are valuable. And,
Yeah.
you got to create value, right? With your books, especially. But, and just so you know, if you're an author, your books do have value. You just have to show people what that value is. So,
Can I add one point? Can I
sure,
just say
go
one
ahead.
thing?
yeah.
Did you see that New York Times article that came out like yesterday?
No, I haven't seen any of the news.
Oh, you're gonna love it because it said that like the trend now is for high school students and junior high students to read only parts of a book,
Mhm.
and the teachers go for that, and teachers now only make them read like maybe 1 or 2 books a year. So that's really good for us. Okay, I'm sorry, Stacey. I didn't mean to depress
That's That's depressing.
You said not to get depressed.
Why we're getting
You tell me
depressing?
not to talk about sales
I
being
know.
down, and you're talking about how high schoolers are never going to read again. That's
That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. What should you get into, like, if you're in college? AI or writing? AI or writing? You
oh
know, like,
man.
I
Well,
know.
Well,
Oh my
seen
my
God.
advice.
Vince created a rabbit hole.
No, but wait. But because I always tell people, like, look, getting into writing for a living is like just one of the worst things you can do, like financially. Like if you're just talking about making money, but if you're talking about a very fulfilling life, as you and I both talked about, Vince, even on your
Yes.
podcast, like
Sure.
why would we do anything else? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
why I,
it's a
you
priestly
know,
calling and a sisterly
yeah,
calling. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, Vince and I talked about how,
calling.
Priestessly.
on his podcast, we talked about how we have up years and down years, but when you average it out, like we're making junior high math teacher money over here,
Right.
Well,
Living the
okay,
dream.
but that's okay,
That's right.
right? That's okay because we love what we do, right?
Right.
So if you love what you do and you don't care about making $4 million or whatever, I mean, I'd love to have that happen, but that's not my goal because I'm realistic. If I'm going to keep writing books, then I'm not going to make $4 million unless I get a lightning strike.
Right.
Okay, I'm good with that. I'm all right.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's start this off right then. Let's tell everybody what we're going to be doing then here, and let's cover. I'm going to try to keep us on topic because I know the three of us we could totally rant. But I will say this. First and foremost, this is not a doomsday-ish. We're not going to doomsday this. Troy and I are very hopeful for 2026. I know Vince is too. Otherwise we would all quit a long time ago. So hopeful is the theme, but we are going to be honest and we are going to talk about like the things that we see and trends that are kind of working and trends that are not. We're going to talk about things that maybe might help you be like an author for life, and that's one of the reasons why we brought Vince on here too, is because Troy has this longevity in the business, and so does Vince. So I'm gonna for those of you who don't know Vince, and if you're new to this, podcast, we're gonna kind of do a brief introduction for each of us, so you guys kind of understand who we are. My name's Stacy. If you haven't caught that yet, if you don't like me, my name is Frank. I run Print to Pro and Edits by Stacy. And again, my name is Frank if you don't like me. But I've been editing and publishing indie authors for, gosh, I think this is my 10th year professionally, which is very exciting. I love what I do because I empower authors to learn how to take control of their author business and have as much control over what they're doing as possible and do it professionally and at a level that can compete with the big published big authors. So that's my goal. And then just recently, Troy and I also opened Alibi Syndicate, which launches in just a week or so. Vince is our editor at large in that company. And that is a traditional press for noir and mystery thriller writers. We are really excited to start that this coming year. So that's kind of where I sit. I've published, I think I'm over 300 authors now. So, I'm not like a huge publisher, but I work with these authors individually. I do about 20 to 30 books a year is what my goal is. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit about me. Troy, I'm going to let you go ahead and give your spiel.
Oh, well, I mean, like Vince, I've been in the industry. I've been writing full time since 2009. Been in the industry a little bit longer than that. It took me a few minutes to figure out how this works. And then it all changes. So you have to figure out how it works again. But I think I'm over 40 novels now, just finished a novella, finishing up a second novella, and then another novel on the way. Vince and I are doing some book blast shorts this year. So we've been doing a bunch of short stories we've been putting together. But I'm also an editor and a book coach. Been editing. I started editing a romance first digital publisher. So I've edited way more romance than anything else, but I've edited probably...
You smut author.
Yes, proudly. But I probably edited over 200 books, probably maybe 300. I don't know, something in that neighborhood. I'd have to go back and count them up. And I've also ghostwritten books for people, stuff like that. So I kind of done it all, done a lot of freelance. Same thing Vince has done. We both had done journalism, freelance stuff, all kinds of stuff, basically to try to make a career out of our words. So that's kind of me.
Cool.
That's it. And then, Stacy and I, Alibi Syndicate Press, and Vince coming on as our editor at large is just, we're going to try to change at least in this one tiny little niche area, we want to just change what publishers are doing and do it right instead of
Do it right.
following the same old model that is destined for failure. I mean,
Yeah. And we might talk about that a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So Vince, tell us about yourself. I mean, go. I'm ready to hear what you have to say about yourself.
I don't know what to say. To be honest.
You want me to introduce you?
Introduce him. Yeah.
So Vince is Seamus Award winner, Derringer Award winner,
Thriller.
100 plus International Thriller Writers Award winner, Thriller Award winner. How many books? 120 some?
I'm over 200. Well, I mean, with short stories and stuff,
With short stories and stuff, but over
I have
200
Wow.
220. What do we call it now? 220 products.
products.
Mhm.
Products. Written products. If we count short stories, well, I didn't even do that. But anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I mean, in other words, we're both fairly prolific. I wrote probably 2,000 words this morning before this broadcast. I know Vince is like me, 2,000 to 4,000 words a day is something we're just doing. I haven't been as faithful to that this past year. Lots of reasons for that, but I'm writing way more all of a sudden. Anyway, it's really great. But yeah, so writes 2,000 to 4,000 words a day. Is in Italy right now on his. What do you do this twice a year? Writing retreat.
Twice a year for a couple months, whatever. Yeah.
I love
couple
it.
months.
Next year he's
Goes to
taking
Italy.
me with him. He already promised.
I already talked to your husband, and he's like, you know what?
Please take
Do
her
it.
with you.
Just take her.
Yeah,
Just
I will
take
pay
her.
for it. I'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, sweet.
Well,
Sweet.
Vince and I have talked about this because when Vince goes on these, this is a real genuine writing. Writing is the thing, and the wine and Italy and all the stuff is after hours. So if we go with Vince, you write all day and then you meet for drinks in the evening. That's the kind of writing retreat this is.
Good.
Can I interject just quickly? Speaking
Sure,
of
yeah.
It's
of course.
your introduction. You bet.
Okay, thanks. But Dan, is it Dan Waxman or who was the really nice guy, really talented guy who was in True Pulp?
Daniel Weissman.
Daniel
Oh,
Weissman.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I caught a post on Instagram from him, and he's like, "Oh, don't forget next year our Florence Writers Retreat." And I was almost
Florence.
"You got to be kidding me, dude! I've been here for 2 months working on a book." And he's like, "Oh, well, we're actually, in other words, he's like, we're monetizing this bitch,
Oh, yeah.
That's a
there's
great
a lot of
idea.
writers retreats here,
Yeah,
anywhere in Italy or Paris.
And we
or
are, so we'll be doing the one next October in Tahoe.
In Tahoe.
And Vince
So
is going to join us for that.
yeah.
Yes, I will be
So-
there.
And then he's coming to Idaho and going to decide if he wants to be my neighbor. So,
Right.
Well,
Because I
we'll
love to
see.
ski, I love to fly fish, and
Oh, yeah.
And Troy and I have known each other. Troy, how long we've been working together for on and off since about 2009, 10, 11, something like that.
Yeah, 10, 11, I think is when did you do the, when did we do the, when did you do the 12?
That was like 16 or so, or 15.
Oh, that was later on.
Were you in the
that's
12?
right. No, I missed
Uh-oh,
being
who's
in
frozen?
the 12, barely. It was Alan, Diane, was it Alan Lebron, Diane
Yeah.
Capri? Anyway.
Oh,
I don't
we're
remember.
we're name dropping here, boys. We're name dropping
yeah.
now. You guys
Well,
are totally.
Vince and I have been in this when this all first kicked off. Well, we talked about this before. There were a couple hundred people doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was a really small community of people that were self-publishing and stuff. It was super small. there were a couple hundred people doing this. So you all knew each other. I mean, we all met each
Right.
other at different forums online, stuff like that, different conferences. Because you would go to conferences and there's like everybody is traditionally published except this little group in the corner of guys who are saying, "You making
Well,
money?" We're like, "Yeah, we're making money." And anyway, it
let
was
me
just
ask
different.
this then. So, because that's a really good transition, then, because now we're in this market which is very, very saturated. So, the name of the game right now is discoverability, right? Like, how do you sift yourself? And that's the way I kind of like always liken it is when I'm figuring out everybody's metadata and I'm sitting there going through everything. It's almost like you're just kind of sifting to the top of this very big pile, right? And
Right.
your genre and your categories are your smaller piles within that big pile. But really, guys, that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to sift ourselves up to the top of that pile. So I know that there used to be trends of like writing rapid release, and there's trends of like writing to market. But what do you guys think for 2026? Do you think those kinds of things are going to work this year, or do you think that's something to keep going, or do you think that the idea, like what Johnny Truant is saying, is just write to passion and write what you like and write what you know, and then find your audience? What do you guys think? And what do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think?
I have my answer to it.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then I'll give you mine after that. Yeah.
I mean, I cut my teeth on traditional publishing, and in fact, I supported a family on traditional publishing for a long time. And it was miserable. It was really a miserable existence. I mean, I think I have like 60 traditionally published books, and I've had advances anywhere from like $250,000 to $3,000. So I've done it all, and it was only until I think. I mean, when Troy and I met, like I was working with a small publisher, among
Stone
others, Stonegate or whatever, and
Stonehouse?
yeah,
Stonehouse.
and that I
Yeah.
did that like agented. Um, so I still because I still at that time, this was 2011, 2012, I still considered like going indie, like, no, you don't do that. You have to go through the agent and the whatever. And it wasn't until 2017 that I like saw the light that like, oh, gee, you could do both. And that's when I did like the Shroud Key, and that sold like really well. And I was like, wow, I'm making more money from the Shroud Key than I am from my traditional stuff. Uh, and I was with, I mean, but tr independent publishing makes sense to me because it's dollars and cents, it's business. It just if you've done anything in business, it makes sense. Traditional publishing has always been illogical to me. Yeah, what
Hmm.
was that?
And
Just came
Stacy's
through earlier.
dogs.
Get the damn dogs.
I turned on my little space heater. They heard the beep and they went, ah! Anyway,
Right,
go
they were
Oh
on.
my
nuts.
goodness.
But okay, so like for instance, I just got the rights back from Thomas and Mercer to The Remains
Oh,
and Everything Burns. The Remains was an Amazon Kindle editor's pick, and it was an
yes.
overall #1 pick. Sold at least 300,000 copies, right? And I just got Everything Burns back. The
Oh,
lawyer emailed
dude.
me, whatever. That sold over 300,000 copies. And at one point, like I was outselling everybody at Thomas and Mercer, but still, they're like, well, we're moving on. Like, where is the logic in that?
Right.
What is the logic? The logic
There,
is just that like it's a new crew and they want to,
well,
whatever.
yeah, okay. So this leads to my answer perfectly because here's the advantage that Vince and I and some other authors as well that have a big backlist have going in if we leverage this. And this is one of my predictions that the backlist is going to matter more than it ever has. And
Right.
here's why is
Right.
for big brands, and we know this about marketing businesses, what we have is what's called cumulative advantage, right? And what that means is the more products you have, the more likely you are to sell a lot of products, right? Because like if Tide only offered lavender laundry soap, I'm allergic to lavender. I'm never buying Tide. But Tide has 4 million flavors of laundry detergent,
Don't
right?
mention lavender because my ex smelled like lavender now. Now I want to
Okay,
cry. Now I want
Now
to
coriander.
you're
cry.
sad.
Coriander.
Coriander. Coriander
Actually,
Poisonous.
Tide. I've heard of it.
I don't miss her anymore, so you can go.
Okay, that's right.
Sorry.
Your aim's getting better. But anyway, but
That's what
but
she
I mean,
said.
you know what I mean?
Sorry,
Like,
Stacy.
so
Sorry.
you
I'm
having
good.
lots of titles gives you an advantage if you utilize that backlist, because that backlist is what helps you do what Johnny's talking about and build a community of your own. Because what traditional publishers have been on, a lot of indie authors have been on, is this hamster treadmill. You do a release, you sell a bunch of books, you have a short tail that falls off after that, and you release another book, and you have a, well, that's how people are burning out, because they can't, because Vince and I are both very prolific, but there are authors who are not very prolific that are trying to be prolific. And this is why one of the reasons they're trying to create books with AI and stuff like that is because they can do it faster than they can physically, their brain can physically manage to do it,
Right.
right? Because they're just not able to do it. So they're thinking speed is the name of the game, and traditional publishers are thinking whatever's new is the name of the game. So whatever's new and next and trending is the name of the game. So they aren't going to keep, even if Vince is selling 300,000 books on these titles, they're not going to keep publishing Vincent Zandri noir novels, because they feel like eventually that's going to taper off.
Well, and publishers have always traditionally tried to set the, I mean, they do try to set the tone for the future. I mean, we know that they've done this for years. They publish what they think should be like the mood of the people, you know, and they set this out there, you know, the whole,
And then they put a marketing budget behind
they
it.
put a marketing budget
Yeah.
behind it, and they you know, and right now it feels like a lot of like very conspiracy, anti-government, just really interesting, like hate mongering, separation, like, you know, like let's categorize our whole life and put us into a box and feel alone in this world. And it just feels like all the literature right now that they're publishing goes into that kind of like that mood, and it's just really, really ugly. And so when you're trying to publish something that's not like that, of course they're gonna poo-poo on that and put you in another, you know, oh well, we're gonna set you aside when we feel like we want, you know, that kind of stuff, we'll bring you out later, and you know, or we're just gonna put you out to pasture, you know, or just
Yeah.
like what
And
they're
they're
doing with
18
Vince.
months, they're predicting 18 months ahead. And this is what, like, a friend of mine used to do this all the time. Is that's how she made a living, is she would essentially watch what the big contracts were that publishers would put out in Publishers Weekly for romance, which is what she wrote. She'd be like, what romances are big publishers publishing 18 months from now? They're going to be putting big marketing budgets behind that. So she would write a book that was similar to that and release it 18 months later, riding on the marketing tails of the big publishers.
That's I
That's what
mean,
people
that might
wanted,
have,
was that genre.
it might work still to do that then if you want
No.
to, but I don't think
No.
it will.
One of the reasons that big publishers, even small publishers, are failing is because their sales are down. Like, we have to run ads and stuff like that, right, to keep our sales up and stuff like that. But big
Right.
publishers' sales are down, but they're still following the same model of, we promote the top 10% of our authors, and the rest of them, we give them a contract, buy their book. Like Wiseman, Daniel Wiseman, dude, this dude is a talented, super smart writer. His books are excellent. I edited his first 2 books before, and part of his third, before it went to his agent. Like, this guy is sharp. He is on it. He is doing it right. And, you know,
Nice
he's
guy, too.
not making a living. He's got 2 traditionally published titles out, and when you look at them, the rankings are the same as a lot of indie published titles, because his publisher is not putting the marketing behind those books,
Right.
right? So it doesn't matter. He's a great writer. He's written great books. He's got great books published traditionally,
Right.
and he's not making money.
So
Not
is there
that
an
much
advantage then to going with a trad publisher anymore? There isn't, is it? There
I
is no
think
advantage, was there?
There is.
There is.
Well, yes. Go, Vince, because
Right,
we
right. The
feel the
only
same
reason,
way, probably.
right. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm going to finish my thought from originally, which
Okay.
was if you do, I mean, I always look for one traditional contract a year, only because I'm going to get reviewed in Publishers Weekly. I'm going to get reviewed at Kirkus. I'm going to get without paying for it. I'm going to get reviewed, Book Reporter, all those things. Maybe get a starred review, and I'm going to get some press or whatever. Sometimes only once I think was it like, Vince has lost his way with this one or whatever. But
Oh,
you still find like a little snippet that you can use. It's like, whatever, like a quote. But it's just a different animal that you can use for legitimacy, for validation, for whatever. But if you expect to make anything other than your advance, and now even advances are sometimes
I
being
think even advances
substituted
go, yeah.
being substituted for just like a back end, whichever. I've done that
mhm.
too with like down and out, and they're gone. Um,
Yeah.
but it just is a whole different animal in that you get much more attention. You get Hollywood attention. You get all those things that as on your indie side you don't get. I mean, they say like, okay, well, there's The Martian and all that shit, but in general, you don't. But here's the
Right.
thing: what are we all living on? We're living on our indie books as
Right.
opposed to the traditional books.
Right.
Um, and there's one little game, nasty game that some of the traditional publishers are playing, and I called a couple out on it. And in fact, um, not to be all Harlan Ellison like, but one of my publishers, I'll just say it starts with Ocean, took one of, and it was during COVID. They took one of my books, and like as soon as I was about to earn out, they reduced the price to 99 cents. Like when it was within
Hmm.
like just a few $100. I don't know, maybe it was because I wasn't feeling good at the time or whatever. But I ended up it was like the equivalent of Harlan. I sent an email, but it was like the equivalent of Harlan Ellison sending his publisher like a rat in a shoebox during the heat of
Yeah.
summer. Like
Oh, yeah.
that story where like he
Yeah.
sent it like the least postage possible so that it stunk
It took
like
the
hell.
longest. Oh, dang.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I was like, okay, after that email, like my agent was like, holy, because CC'd my agent. He's like, holy shit, Vince, what the hell did you just do? And I'm
I
like,
remember
sorry.
when you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, the agent wants to sell more to them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
like, well, they're cheating. Like, I'd earn out, like, and he's like, yeah, but, because agents have a different, mindset.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Like, right? So publishers, that's the one thing that I want all authors to understand is like leveraging a publisher for what they can offer you is probably, it's not a bad idea. But at the same time, if you're trying to do this for longevity, then doing kind of and for lack of a better term, hybrid model of your publishing career as a as an author,
Yeah.
it's probably the best way to go about your
Yeah.
for longevity, right? Like
Right.
to
Yeah.
make sure
I
that
think
I
you
so.
almost call
stay
it,
in the business.
I almost like calling it a dual model instead of hybrid because hybrid
Yeah, because
publishing has
hybrid's
such a bad
overused.
name,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
and
I
hybrid
like
actually, yeah, hybrid has that like
it has a different connotation
the
or
that
pay to
vanity
play.
meaning.
publishing thing. Yeah.
Vanity
Yeah,
publishing pay to play type thing, which is not what we want. Because there's a difference between paying for author services and hybrid. And Stacey and I've talked about this on the podcast. Go look at that
I
back
like
in
the
the
dual
past, right?
thing.
yeah,
But it's more like dual publishing. But I'd like Vince's because what you're leveraging traditional publishing for is two things really, which is exposure and then awards and things like that. But you're not leveraging them for money for the most part, right? And we used to be
Right.
like, people would tell us all the time, well, write for exposure. You'd be in some short magazine, some indie magazine or whatever. And they'd be like, write for exposure. I'm like, exposure doesn't pay my bills, right? But in the case of traditional publishing, what exposure does is it does get you in front of film agents. It does get you in front of, now,
Right.
I
This
mean,
is the thing.
how much
Yeah.
good that'll do you in this Hollywood market where they're remaking everything. I mean, I do want to see the new Running Man, but I mean, they're remaking everything. So how much good does that do you? Well, it does you a hell of a lot better good than not having that exposure.
Right.
And having those awards is a good thing to be able to say, I have a Derringer, I have a Seamus Award, those type of things. Like that is credibility that says somebody other than your mom said your writing was good,
Right.
and then reviewers on Amazon. So that's good stuff, right? So that's a good reason to publish with traditional publishers. It's not, but it's one of the only reasons. Like, you're not going to make a ton of money publishing with a traditional publisher.
With a
Like, I
traditional
love
publisher.
how True Pulp has sold, and how we got a lot of interest and stuff, and how that Kickstarter went really well, right? I'd really like that,
Yeah.
but like, are we going to make lots of money off that? I mean, what, you got a recent payment of like $8, right? Which, I mean, and even though we made on the Kickstarter, like, but I mean, think about that. That's split between 13 authors. So if it was 13 times 8, you'd be like, yeah, that's not too bad for an anthology, right?
Right.
But I mean, you know what I mean? But each author gets their little piece. But I mean, the point of it is that we got exposure. You got your name next to, Wiseman got his name next to some really popular authors and amazing authors. So where he gets some more notice, right? So, well, that's awesome. It's great. But we didn't make that to make a bunch of money. Like, I was the organizer, and I did not make a bunch of money. That is not what happened. I mean,
and I think that's kind of the point of anthologies, though, right? Like you said, it's to get your name next to other people's names, and to see what kind of like response you get from reviewers. Maybe somebody asks for more, or says, hey, we really liked this story, and writes the publisher, and then the publisher kind of has an idea of who's getting them, who's worth putting more money into if they're publishing that, right? But the thing about indie, that like the part that I absolutely love about this business, is that when you're an indie, you have complete and 100% control over your author career. Whereas with a trad publisher, you kind of have to play their game. However, there's a big caveat here, and this is one of the things that I know you two understand and know. But part of the reason that publishers take on authors that they know that they can make money from, and they invest money into those books that they know are going to make them money, is because they also know they have an author that knows how to market themselves. And that is 100% what I kind of wanted to veer off into a little bit here for 2026, because one of the things that I want everybody to know and understand is that you can't sit still on a backlist anymore. I mean, and I don't even know if you ever could. We all knew that, like, there was this kind of like back in early publishing, right? Early indie publishing back in the gold rush, right? We know that you could put a book on Amazon and you could probably make money with zero activity.
Almost no effort.
Like no ads, nothing. It was easy. It was easy.
Yeah.
KDP did its own little thing with your ebook, and you got discovered, and it was amazing. In fact, we met a guy a couple years ago that came to a writers conference one time, and he was just, I love the guy just for the sake of his character. Like, he had a really amazing like character. I'm gonna write him down in a book one day, but. He wore really short shorts and had a big mouth. Remember? You know who I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His shorts were a little too short, in my opinion. But anyway, he loved to talk about how he was like a six-figure.
What do you mean by that, Stacey?
Oh well,
we got to know him a little too well.
We got to know him. I was a little more familiar with him than I wanted to be, but he was really big on talking to, like how he was a six-figure earner, but he was always kind of like boasting about how much he sold, but then he would like kind of like get quiet towards the end of his sentences and go, but it's not happening right now. I just don't know what's going on. And I was just like, well, you used to publish when there was nobody in the market, and now the market is full of people writing books like yours. So this have to do something.
We have a comment in the YouTube thing that I want to highlight, because so he mentions Mark Coker from Smashwords, which like back in the day, like Mark Coker, like we all knew each other. Like we would just email Mark Coker back and forth when he started Smashwords, right? Which was, for those of you who don't know the history of it, was really besides Amazon and Apple, was the first self-publishing marketplace, and they were an aggregator who got things out to people for you, like Drafted Digital does now. And he said, like Mark Coker said years ago, the good thing about self-publishing is anyone can publish. The bad thing is
Anyone can publish.
Anyone can publish.
But
Right.
this is one of the things that I think, so
A
this
rock
is what
can
we've
publish.
seen happen over and over again, though, right? Is that some big thing will come up, AI, ebooks, whatever, and people say, publishing is dead, authorship is dead, you can
Print
never
is
make
dead.
a living at this ever again. I mean, this has
Yeah,
happened
remember?
at least
Print's
like
dead.
8 or 9
Print is dead.
times in my career where people have said, have come out doomsday. And like same thing with SEO. People come out and they'll say, SEO is dead. You're never going to need, every December, somebody comes out with the same post, but there's a different reason why these things are dead, right? But it's dead. You're done. You should go do another career. Go to Walmart, be a greeter. Hey, that'll play. Here's your sticker. And you're, you're fine, right? But
Is that really what
but the
happens
truth
at
is,
Walmart?
the
That's
good
how he'll-
stuff
that's how he'll
always
do it.
rises. Yeah,
Is
that's
it
how
really?
the
You
good
go in with your shopping cart and they're like, here's
Yeah.
your sticker. I bet,
Here's your sticker.
Troy, you probably put it on.
I put it on. I'm proud of my Walmart sticker.
Right. Wait, where do they, excuse me, but where do they keep the briefs?
Yeah, where do they keep the briefs? Yes. Is that still on aisle 37? You haven't moved anything in here, have you? Because I can't find anything when you rearrange the store. Anyway. But what
dear.
always happens, though, and you know this too, Vince, is
Uh-oh, okay.
always the
Off
people
the
that are
rails.
doing the work and that write quality books and stuff, they always rise to the top and find a new way, whether that's been through running ads or whether that's been through just getting great reviews or whatever the case may be. The good stuff always rises to the top, and there's always this huge slush pile on Amazon that nobody reads. Those people aren't your competition because nobody's buying their books. They're garbage. They're
garbage. Is he refilling his glass?
He's probably refilling his glass. I would
You refilling your?
suspect so.
Are you refilling your glass? Oh no, he went and got
Oh.
water. Good
Just the
job.
water.
Hydration's good for you.
It's one thing that I learned from anyway, there's a number of industries I've worked in. And one thing I learned is switch to water sooner. It's a great idea.
You know what? This apartment has radiant heat, like the old radiator.
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
I just dry right out.
Oh,
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
sucks the air right out.
Vince is suffering over in Italy. I just want
Oh,
you guys to know
it's
that.
just
He's suffering.
just suffering in
over
the
in Italy.
Mediterranean. It's awful.
But listen, Stacy. Der Führer, Stacy. When we do get to predictions, I do have a prediction I want to.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. Well, first,
I was going
gonna
to
ask
say
a-
there's another comment that Judy left
Oh,
in the
okay.
because, and I don't
Hi,
know,
Judy.
you remember this too, Vince, when Amazon had an author ranking site where it ranked authors. Remember how you'd get ranked as an author? Maybe were you in the game then, or were you still?
Oh
traditional
yeah,
then?
I mean I started in '99, dude.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Do you remember them having that site? That was one of the things that they had that was really great. As an author, that was
Yes.
great to be on that top
Yes.
100.
I forgot
Remember that?
about that because you'd say
I
like,
know, me
"Oh,
too.
look at me, I'm ahead of John Grisham."
Oh
For
yeah,
like
and
5 minutes. Yes,
I remember.
do.
I remember
Yeah,
when
I was ahead of Patterson for like 7 minutes one day. It was the
Right.
greatest day of my life.
Right, and you'd
Michael-
take a picture of it, whatever.
Michael
Yeah.
Brent
Flashback.
Collings. Michael Brent Collings. I remember when he used to say, "I'm ahead of Stephen King."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was awesome.
Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, just it's great stuff that now has kind of gone away. And of course, this is because of the size, the amount of people that publish. And you're right. There are people that should publish. Indie Publish will allow anybody to publish those great stories that come out that from indie publishers that a trad publish wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but that will hit its mark when it finds its audience, right? But then there's also those books that shouldn't be published. And there's a lot of books right now. There's even more being published right now that shouldn't be published because
I disagree.
Well, I mean, I think that I like
disagree.
freedom.
You know why?
But I would go ahead, yeah.
This is your show. I don't.
No, yeah.
Listen,
No.
You're here.
let the crap come out.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Let people smell it. and let people, just be like, oh my God, this is terrible. This is awful, because I still believe even now that, and I'm not going to use the cream rises to the top cliche, because that's not even accurate. The good stuff will prevail, and the
Yes.
crap will
I
next.
agree with that. I agree with
Yes.
that. 100%. I agree with that.
I'm sorry.
And
So
that's
Stacy, I'm sorry to
no, 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 no. I
No, no.
100% agree with that. Like I said, like
Yep.
in a standards way, that stuff shouldn't be published. But you're right. It will sift out. It will sift out. It will just go to the
It
bottom.
it settles to the bottom, but and
Yeah.
here's what I agree with Vince too is, first of all,
It also doesn't get
when we have the freedom for
backing.
anybody to publish with self-publishing, when anybody can publish, then anybody will publish. That's true. But if we didn't have that, we would still be in the gatekeeper traditional publishing system, and we wouldn't be talking right now.
right.
I mean, that's the truth of the matter. So the freedom that we give everybody to publish means, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of crap published, fine, but it also means that we can publish the good stuff and we can work to make it rise to the top.
Yeah.
Otherwise, none of it would
Exactly.
exist.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So,
So here's some questions then, guys. What do you think?
Yes.
What should authors be doing in 2026 then to move the needle? What do you guys think that they should be doing?
I think
What are you going to do?
I first of all, you got to be good, and you got to be talented. You got to all those things. Like, if you don't have talent, I mean, I hate to break it, but like, all right, I'll just give you an example. I got an email from a guy I got stranded with in Paris, believe it or not, and about 5 years ago. Hadn't heard from him in a while, because we ended up staying at this weird hotel or whatever, and he's like, I have a book that I've been working on,
Everybody has a book.
don't they?
mhm.
And he, like, 5 years later, I hear from him. He's like, "Oh, Vin, you said you'd look at my book," and he sent it to me. And like, years ago, I would have been like, "This is great, go for it," or whatever. But he sent it to me, and I was like, "Dude, this is terrible. It's awful. Like, don't even consider getting it out there unless you want to pay a ghostwriter $50,000 to work it out for you." And at first he
Mhm.
got pissed, but then he was like, kind of like, all right. He took it, and he was like, all right. Um, so I guess if you have talent, if you've proven your talent, maybe you've gone to writing school, maybe you haven't, but you've published some newspaper articles or whatever, or you've published in some decent journals, or you publish, literary journals. It's still a matter of what's your cred. If you've done the dirty work, and you've proven yourself, then definitely you can publish independently, but also keep trying to publish traditionally as well. I guess this is getting to what I was going to say about the future, because it's 2026 now. In a couple of days, we're a quarter done with this century. And we spent a lot of the past quarter in the 20th century, and now
Right.
it is full on 21st century publishing. And I honestly believe that the distinction between independent publishing and traditional publishing are just gonna
It's going to blur.
merge, and we're not even going to talk about this anymore. And I'm just going to give you
Mhm.
another example. Look at Matt Taibbi, who was one of Rolling Stone's best journalists, and he's written a bunch of books. And Walter Kern, who's one of my heroes, who wrote Up in the Air or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, and he's a screenwriter. And both these guys started Substacks, and they do a Substack together. Um, Walter just wrote a screenplay that no Hollywood producer picked up, even after George Clooney did his thing. And he's out there in LA having parties looking for donations, just like Troy and I will do Kickstarters.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
It's
Only
crowdfunding.
at
Yeah.
it's crowdfunding,
Yeah.
only at a larger level. I mean,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
um,
Richer people in the room. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And these guys and Walter also started a new publication, County Highway, where he's the editor at large. So he's self-publishing his own. But these guys, and every week they talk about a new book. They go through it, the book. It takes them sometimes 3 weeks to get through a book. Like they did The Fall by Camus. They did um, uh, anyway, a bunch of them. But I love it because it keeps me reading, right? Other different
Yeah.
books around
Right.
them. But these guys love books and they love writing and whatever. And these guys are our age and they are moving on with the times. And they are making a ton of money. I don't want to say a ton of money, but they're making really, really, really good money. And they're not like, well, our time is done. Like we're over.
Yeah.
And they do traditional, they do indie, they do anything. They could just go, they roll with it. Never once have they said, "Oh, well, this is independent and this is traditional." That has never come out of their mouths at all. It's just like this is the way it is now. This is the business.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that's what's going to start happening now and in 2026. You're not never going to say indie and traditional again. You're just going to talk about publishing.
David just asked a really good example, a good question. Did you see that? He asked,
No.
do you think that traditional publishers may opt to develop separate branches just for indie authors to allow something other than big name authors to get their names out there? There already are. So you know, yeah. Random House already has one. Simon and Schuster has it's a hybrid publisher that you can pay to have their name on their book, which is, by the way, they're very expensive, but you better believe that the traditional publishers right now are dipping into indie, and the reason is because they're going out of business.
Right.
So just this year we saw three small, personally been touched by three small presses that have gone out of business. Simon and Schuster, 10 Hut Media. Three that I know of because I have clients that have come to me from those media outlets.
Down and Out went out.
Yeah.
And then we also saw Simon and Baker, or not Simon and Baker, Baker Taylor. Baker Taylor went out of business.
Oh, that was huge.
That was a huge one.
Huge.
And so this is like, the reason is because they're not adapting into this, like what Vince is talking about is like they're not coming into this melded idea of understanding, wait a minute, we're not going to be able to control what people want to put out there. We actually need to work with authors because the authors are going to drive this industry. And that's just it. Readers and writers are going to continue to shape the way that the publishing landscape is going to look.
Yeah.
And so, there's those readers that are out there that are very active on social media and that are constantly talking about what they like and what they don't like. If you want to know what writers or what readers are looking for in your genre, you need to follow some of these people and see what they're criticizing. And then that way, if they're criticizing something that you got as a bad habit in your back pocket, get rid of it. Because you want to know what your audience is hot for. And of course, it's fickle. So again, you gotta appease your muses, right? But train yourself to be better. Don't just sit in the same mud pile that you've been, gotten nice and warm. Get out of that mud pile and go find another one. If you have to, because you have to get better. You have to get better.
Well,
I think to the top.
So my big prediction really is that what's going to happen with 21st century publishing is this. We're going to keep writing and publishing books, and readers are going to keep consuming them.
Right.
Now, and you say that's kind of a given, but I'm like, well, but the thing is, we don't know. Readers are moving away from Amazon and away from big retailers and moving towards other places of discovering books. The other thing is what they're looking for is an experience and to get to know you as an author. So you have to, as we've interviewed Michael Evans, Johnny Truant, and we talked about going beyond the book. The book is not enough. The reader wants to know you as an author. They want a community. They want things like that, right? And
Right.
so we're going to have to, as authors, provide that for them. But at the same time, we're going to continue writing books, publishing books, and making that happen, right? Because we have to, because that's what we do. And readers are going to continue to consume stories in one form or another. And whether that's more audio or print or whatever the case may be, it's going to be something. So none
Right.
of that is going to stop. So people think publishing is dead. No, it's not. Publishing is moving on to a
Right.
new formula, whether that's Substack and subscriptions or Patreon or Ream or your own direct sales or whatever the case may be. Yeah, people are going to move away from Amazon. That means you have to bring them to you on your email list and stuff like that. People are going to move away from social media. Lots of people are leaving social media. Yeah, okay, well, they're going to find another way to discover books. And we
Exactly.
need to
And
be there.
that was the
We
other
need
thing
to
I was
be
going to
there.
talk about is that, we're seeing like social media is great, but it actually who was it? Somebody recently at Author Nation said and I wish I would have paid more attention and wrote it down. Somebody said that we shouldn't be calling it social media anymore. We should be calling it something else like marketing media or something like that, because that's really what it is. It's not
Mhm.
social anymore. This isn't just a place where we get together with our friends and family. People are utilizing this as a way to, like you said, discover more, discover
Sell.
different, sell books, sell whatever wares they have to offer, right?
Influence.
And influence. But influencers are actually finding that they're going out of business right now. And
Thank
that's
God.
interesting. Yeah, right? But influencers are
Right.
going out of business because they're finding out people are tired of being told that this consumerism and this, overindulgence, and that you're never,
Well,
this unachievable way of living
and the
is going to
magic
be.
solution, the
Yeah, and
magic bullet,
there's
the
no
magic
magic
solution
bullet.
everybody's
Right.
looking for.
Right.
Permission
Yeah.
to go on a
Yes.
tangent.
Go on a
Well,
tangent. I'm ready.
I just did a little video on influencers, and I found this one guy. I don't know how I came upon him, but it was on Instagram, right? And he's like, oh, like, and he's got like 30,000 followers, right? And he's like, and he's filming himself at the breakfast buffet at a hotel, and he's like, I got a secret for you. Here's what you do at the breakfast buffet. Always pay for it, because then you can make sandwiches and you can fill up your backpack with food for. And I'm like, I commented, I'm like, dude, bad form.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, why? I'm like, why? Because you're stealing. Like you're paying for an all-you-can-eat buffet, whatever, like at the Jimmy Buffett, like
Mm-hmm.
at the buffet. Like they're not allowing you to like feed you
Take
for
all
the
their
whole
Yourself for
food.
the
day.
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And so like, and then I took it a step further, and I'm just like, influencers are ruining travel because, like, take Florence for instance. I'm on the opposite side of the river. I'm like in the suburbs, and it's beautiful. But on the other side of the river, it's just mobbed. It's just mobbed. 10 years ago, it was not like that at this time of the year. You had space, and now like you go to like a sandwich shop or whatever, and they're out like out the door and whatever. And it's all because of influencers who are being paid by a product or a company or whatever. And people just go on Instagram. They're like, Howard, come here. This is where we have to go. Get the tickets to Florence, and we're gonna go to this sandwich shop. And that's influencers. It'll end
Hmm.
eventually, because people that'll wear off. But
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
anyway,
people
that's
don't
my
like
that's my
waiting in
rant.
line.
That's my influencer rant. I'm sorry.
What's funny is
Yeah.
people like finding those secret hidden spaces, man. When I went to Cozumel, I'm not even going to tell you the name of the restaurant because I just asked the locals, like, where do you eat? They
Right,
told me
right.
this
And that's
place.
what
I
it
go
is.
to
Well,
that place.
my
I ended up
husband's
going
like
there
that.
3 times when I was in Cozumel because the food and everything was so excellent, but it was never crowded, right? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
want it to be crowded. I don't
Right.
want to tell a bunch of people where that restaurant is in Cozumel,
We
and
have
then
we
when I
have a
go there
place
next
here in
time,
Nampa.
there's a huge, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I
we
don't
have
want
this.
that.
We have a place here in Nampa, and when William and I first moved here 20 years ago, we found this little place, and it was amazing. Like there's all of 10 tables in this place.
I
Like
had
you
good
don't.
sushi in Nampa.
Yeah,
There
this
is.
place, this is a good little, they only serve breakfast and lunch at this little place. And, it's just like tucked away. You really have to know that it's there. And it's actually out towards Marsing. It's not even in Nampa. So anyway, I loved it. Anyway, somebody, Guy Ferrer, went there and featured it on his show.
Oh, now.
And now the place is overrun. And you can't, like, you have to call in and to get a table because there's so many people there. It's awful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate this.
Right.
And it was all because somebody opened their big mouth. Now,
The first.
that's you want to capitalize on that as a book, as a book author, right?
Well,
you
yeah,
want to capitalize on that.
Right.
The
But
cafe owner loves that. But
One last comment on this. You know who started it? I think was
Who?
Tony Bourdain. I used to go.
Anthony
I used to-
Bourdain, yeah.
yeah.
I used to go to Layal on 28th and Park in New York City when it was a closet. It was a closet. It was a real French bistro. Maybe there'd be 15 people in there at one time, and you'd go outside and smoke a cigarette, whatever. And he was still working there at the time. And like at the counter, they had like Kitchen Confidential and maybe one of his mystery books. And he was just starting to get famous, whatever. About a year later, it was TGIF Fridays, literally. They had expanded like 3 times their size. You got like when you went in, like this'll beep when you get a table.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And here's the thing. Before he died, it went out of business. Because they were like starting to do that, like open up the plastic and throw it in the deep fryer and
Yep.
Like it
from
always
Cisco. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm starting to get it.
No. That's
I'm
perfect because that relates. That's just
sure
kind
there's
of
a
like
metaphor.
And I'm gonna
No,
go
there
back
is.
to the comments because I want to talk to this thing that one Texas vet Jeb, one of our regular listeners, said. He said people are really moving away from Amazon in bulk. Or are they just leaving on the margins?
No.
I think what's happening is there is for younger people especially, there is a big distrust of big tech. And so they are moving away from buying
right
things on
now,
Amazon.
the Gen Zers are literally in this anti-establishment kind of movement. They're like moving away from consumerism right now. I'm not kidding. It's a buzzword right now on social media. People are not excited. I mean, like every time I turned around, I had this cute little Gen Zer and my best friend's daughter, and she was like, that's just consumerism.
Yes.
Like,
And
constantly.
this is funny. What else is happening too is like, so I know authors that are having a lot of success because they have an Etsy shop. So they have something special edition about their book and they sell it on Etsy or Shopify or eBay. And the reason is those kids are looking for something out of the norm. They are not going to Barnes and Noble and browsing the stacks for a new book at a box store. They're walking away from the box stores. They're not searching for things on Amazon. There's a generation that's still doing that. It's ours.
Yeah.
In another 20 years, that generation is going to be gone.
And the only reason
these
is
guys are
because it's
looking for
convenient.
unique stuff. And the other thing is they're buying print books. Like they are buying print books, unique print books. Right. And the reason they're moving towards that is and that's why they're buying records and CDs and cassette tapes and all that kind of stuff. There's a certain amount of retro and also an understanding that when you buy a movie on Amazon, you don't own it. You own the rights to play that movie on their platform, but you don't own the movie. If you have the DVD, it's in your hand. It's the same thing with books. So people are buying physical books and physical things because then they own it. This is mine. If the establishment goes down, if Amazon goes down, I still have this. This is still mine.
I'm gonna touch about this because as authors, I wanna make sure we touch on this a little bit. Digital rights management is very important for authors, and
that's
I want
good question.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I want
because I'm pissed. Anyway,
I want you guys to understand why it's important for authors. Digital rights management specifically is an encryption that kind of keeps your IP trapped on whatever device your stuff is being sold on. So for example, if you're selling your book in KDP and Kindle is releasing your book in the Kindle platform, the digital rights management is supposed to protect you from being pirated off their site, off their device. So if you want to distribute or go wide with your distribution, you're going into other distribution outlets. Like you're going to sell that on your website, you're going to sell that. But the reason you want digital rights management on those specific kind of platforms is specifically because it keeps your book purchased in that system. So basically, you're not going to get somebody who buys your book and then turns around and says, "Hey friend, I read this great book. Here, let me give it to you." And then you don't get any sale off that. You don't see any there's nothing that you get as an author from that. So that's why digital rights management is put into place. So I'm always going to tell my authors, "Yes, lock it in." But you also want to not just be exclusive. You want to sell your book across the gamut. So you're giving all your readers all the chances to buy your book in all the different ways that they want to, which is why you're not just on Amazon. Amazon, yes, people are leaving Amazon in droves. So yes, you want to have a way to sell your book digitally and in print on your website. You want to have a way to sell it in Barnes & Noble. You want to have a way to sell it in Kobo. You want to have a way so you want to go across the world with your distribution, but you want to make sure that your digital rights management is locked in so that it can't be shared outside those platforms so you get paid. Does that make sense?
Yes, but there has been a change to digital rights management on Amazon, and let me go off on this.
Yes.
Well, yeah. And they're giving you like a more, go on.
Well, they're giving you, the basic thing is if you don't enable digital rights management, what it means is that people can download your books in PDF and EPUB format.
Right.
And
I don't offer PDFs anymore for people that are even advanced reader copies or whatever, because it is the number one way that books are pirated.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, that's the first thing. Second of all, not only are you enabling your readers to download those books in various formats, but you're enabling AI companies to download those books in various formats and train AI on them.
Exactly.
And what that does is, so this is one of my predictions for 2026 and going forward, is I think that there will become a part of the industry that you can sell your work to AI to allow them to train on it.
Well, I will guarantee you that
giving it away because you're not enabling DRM, so you're giving it away for $3 on Amazon. They're going to buy it. The AI model will buy it for $3.
I will tell you. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah,
Elizabeth. What's her name? Elizabeth Ann West. She said something to me, and I'm going to give her credit for this. She said something to me and at Author Nation that I thought was interesting. It was about the time she thought she was, selling her company to a big five, and that fell through. But of course, one of her predictors, and the reason that they wanted to buy her company in the first place was because she predicted that Amazon has a book bot that they are writing or that they've created, or that they're, so that AI can, people can go onto Amazon and use their book bot to create a book. Kind of like taking the place of CreateSpace a little bit, you know what I mean? But in an AI format. The thing is that this DRM little change that came out with Amazon, doesn't it seem a little bit fortuitous or a little bit like thought-provoking that it comes out just at the time that Elizabeth is telling me this? Because it would make sense that if they're saying, hey, unless you click this, your book can be used as a PDF, that Amazon itself might be taking your book and using it to train its own book bot.
Exactly what's happening. And remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when it was like, do not press that like DRM.
Well, because everybody was against it.
It was like,
it's not freedom.
It's fine if people pirate your book. It's free marketing. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I've just begun the process of going through every single freaking book and story and pressing the DRM.
The DRM.
You push DRM every platform you distribute on.
And
Yes.
this,
Yes.
see, back in the day, it was like, well, first of all, it doesn't matter if they pirate it because those aren't your buyers anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And
Remember in those
no
days?
one was
Yes.
necessarily stealing your work and training a machine to create work with it.
No, they
right?
weren't training Al.
But
They weren't
here's the
training
thing
Al to.
that I know. So there's a couple reasons I don't think this is going to work for Amazon to create a book bot. Is first of all, reading is a social thing still. So people are going to say, "Have you read the latest book by Vincent Zandri?" They're not going to say, "Have you read the latest book that I created with AI with my Amazon book bot?" Right? That's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, right? The other part of it is that I have experimented with a couple of different platforms, even having AI create a chapter or two of a book, and it creates incredible inconsistencies no matter how good the system is and how good your prompt is. You as a human have to go back and edit that, right? You
Exactly.
have to. You have to, you have to. You cannot, if you just create something straight with AI and put it out into the world, it's going to be garbage. It's not going to work. And I don't care how people say it's getting better. It's not. The other thing that it doesn't get good at is feelings, right? So I can have it create a
Feelings.
section of a chapter
Nothing
of one of my
more
books,
than-
right? And
Nice song.
There's
I
another
like
line
it.
of dialogue, but Mac Boucher does not react internally at all. I was thinking when I was thinking about this podcast, I was thinking about your story, Vince. That's going to be in True Romance Kickstarter coming in February. Everyone, go back it, all that kind of stuff.
Back it.
But your
Back it.
story in there is something that AI would never come up with,
Right.
because
And you
when
know
you
why?
think about, first of all, the
You know why?
emotions.
Because it's genius.
Yeah.
Well, it comes from Vin.
That is.
I
true.
mean,
It
it's
came from
Vin.
Vince.
It's been
But there are emotions in there that AI is not going to come up with, right? And the ending of it is going to be against AI content standards.
well,
Think
you
about
know,
the ending of that.
I mean, if
I'm not going to
just
give it
not
away,
to
but
not to
It's
go
true.
on to an AI
Absolutely.
tangent, but I will say this. I will also say this, and I'm gonna speak. Every once in a while, I get imposter syndrome, and I get, we all do. I mean, I know this is a
Stacey,
common.
stop it.
It is true, and all authors do this. I know
Vince
that
doesn't
everyone.
ever.
Not me.
Oh, freak! Oh, I forgot we were in the presence of a narcissist, but it's okay. No, just kidding. Come back, Vince. Come back. Oh.
We lost him.
We lost Vince.
We lost him entirely.
I was totally kidding. But anyway, I'm gonna
Stacey,
toot
if you
my.
apologize. I'll come back.
No, I am sorry. I will say this though.
what?
I'm sorry.
Say again.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I am.
No,
I am
anyway,
I'm a
I
huge
will say,
narcissist with a
I will
capital
say that
N.
I'm going to put the narcissist hat on my head for a second here, because one of the things that I came into this business doing is telling people, DRM, do it. Why are people not doing it? And I was also register your copyright and get your own damn ISBNs and quit using free ones. And I kept saying this to people, and I kept getting told by other indies, like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, this is all just, a bunch of, this is just too much work. And now we're all getting caught up in this whole like Anthropic suit and this, and I'm like, you gotta protect your shit, guys. This is your IP. This is like, and I studied copyright in school, and I love reading case law. It's confusing as all get out, but I will tell you that in every case that was put up before the Supreme Court or any court in that matter, when it comes to your IP, it all comes down to, how did you take the steps to protect that IP of yours? Like, how did you, what did you do? What did you put in place? What kind of disclaimers did you put on your copyright page? What kind of check marks did you, like, how accessible did you make this? And it's like Troy said, PDFs are so easy. You can encrypt them, but they're still, I know how to break the encryption myself. I can break the encryption, and I'm not a techie. So, like, I just have Adobe software that knows how to break the encryption. So you guys, you have to know that part of your responsibility as an author CEO, 100% of your responsibility is going to be, 1, protect your IP, and 2, put it in the hands of your readers and make noise that's louder than the other authors so that they can find you.
Well,
Those are your 3 things.
So let me piggyback on that just to say that the only thing you own as an author that's really your business that you can sell is your IP. You can sell it a number of ways. You can sell it
Right.
as a ebook, as a paperback, as an audiobook, as a movie, as a short film. You can sell it any number of ways, right? But that's the only thing we own is our IP.
Right.
So, I mean, it just makes sense to protect that in whatever way that we can. We've seen with the Anthropic suit that people that did not file their copyright, like it's $3,000 a book, and if your book's on that list but you didn't file for copyright, you're getting zero.
Right.
There's
You
this,
know, I
there's
mean,
just
that's a
this,
big deal.
oh well, you
Yeah.
know, and it really, really sucks. And what really sucks about this is a lot of the people that got caught up in that suit were all traditionally published, and their publisher didn't file their copyrights.
Right.
Yeah, their publisher didn't file the copyright either.
Well, this
So,
actually, this
yeah.
is why I texted, I DM'd Troy today because a friend of mine who lives in the Netherlands was like, "Oh, Vince, I found your book on what is it over there, like NOL or BOL? It's like their AOL."
Did you wait?
Right.
Do that accent again, Vince.
Oh,
Do that again.
it was like Vince because I don't know. It's not Russian. She's Russian though.
Okay, got it. Good.
It's
Okay.
more like I found book.
Oh, yeah.
I found
Yeah.
a book on site that is like Amazon, and they torture you or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, and I was like, I hope I'm getting paid for this.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like, I
that's
immediately
true.
like text Troy, and I'm like, dude, what's going on here? And she's
Yeah.
like a physics doctor, and she said it's probably third party seller, so you're probably getting paid. And
Yeah.
so that
Yeah, it's
that caused
Dr.
Troy to
Digital.
like look into it. And but
Yeah.
seriously though, I was like, how
Yeah,
many
are we
people are
getting,
selling our
he's
books?
like,
and we're
are
not
we getting paid for this or is this a pirate site type thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is legit. This is
Right.
just it's a third party thing that, Drafted Digital puts your book internationally around the world. That's lovely. That's great. Do we make pennies from that when it sells
Probably.
in the
Yeah.
Netherlands? Probably.
By
But I
the
mean,
time it
in
gets
some
to us.
ways, like those pennies add up. I mean, I would love to do translations when we can talk about that on another
We can do
podcast.
that on another time, but yeah,
Um,
translations is a
but
big deal.
translations and stuff like that is kind of a big deal right now, and that's become easier for authors to do. And again, this is about going beyond the book and using your IP in as many ways as you possibly can. But yeah, I mean, it's really, yeah, when Vince sent me that, I'm like, are we getting paid for that site? What is
Yeah.
that site? Let me go
So
check that out.
he
He's
looked
like, are
into
we
it.
getting
Yeah.
paid? That's my question,
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, let's make sure that we're getting paid for this book, not only just so that we're getting paid, because it's not all about money for us, but it's also just to make sure no one's stealing our work.
Right.
Exactly.
For
Exactly.
for sure, and this is just my experience. For sure, I have a couple of audiobooks with Blackstone, and I don't care if I'm naming them. And the publisher has gone out of business, but Blackstone's still selling the audiobook, and so
Yeah.
I contacted Blackstone, and I'm like, hey, I haven't seen a check. Am I going to see a check? And totally ignored me. Like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And that audiobooks especially, uh, people are getting away with murder with that crap. And like as an author, what am I going to do? Spend thousands upon thousands of dollars with a copyright lawyer, to go to them
Right.
and be like,
This is
you owe us $150.
Yeah.
And this is where, like, what is that called? Class action is where you
Right.
get traction, but you have to have enough authors to get together to create a class action that are not getting paid to create a class for a lawyer to take it on, because those Anthropic lawyers are making a lot of money. I see that we have
So,
a question though. Stacey,
Yeah,
I want you
that
to
one's
read
a
that
really-
question.
Yeah, this is
because
a
it's a
really
good
good one. It's a really good one. So, and it goes into kind of the transition, and it's kind of like the synopsis of our meeting today.
That
But
is a
I'm
good
just,
question.
yeah, where should our ad money be spent to be discovered and be noisy? And I will start by saying this because it's a very general answer, but it's very, very, very true. It depends on you and your audience and where you want to engage with them. So you're going to have to pay attention a little bit better than just picking something because somebody else said it was good or because they said it worked for them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the rule of thumb when it comes to advertising in general. However, I am seeing some trends, and it's definitely going to be probably moving into more of the short form video kind of aspects. You're going to see a lot. The algorithm at TikTok is very, very smart. And I'm seeing
Very
quite
good.
a bit of success on TikTok with readers because they are finding their authors there and they're wanting to get products from them directly. They feel like when they're buying from them, they're buying physical copies and they're buying from their TikTok shops, and they love that. Again, another one, Kickstarter. I'm seeing and that is a completely different marketplace. Just FYI, Kickstarter
I
is
agree.
not what you would think. There's a lot of readers that don't leave Kickstarter. They stay in Kickstarter and they work directly with authors in there because they know they're independent and they're getting something special and different. And they're collectors. And they really, really engage with their authors there. They feel like they're having this very parasocial kind of relationship there. So that is a very cool place to engage with authors or with readers. And then I would say find and spend time and money on your website. That's where I would say my three. That's my three.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you guys put where you think.
So I'm going to give you a couple tools that you can use and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about something called audience research that authors are terrible at, but there are people that are doing this professionally. There are people like, what is her name? Melissa Storm. There's Matthew. Anyway, there's a few guys that are doing this. Like they're doing market research and running ads like for a living or for their husband or their wife or whatever, or somebody that's in their circle. And so they know where to run the ads for what genre. So what you do is you ask them and they will tell you. They're happy to talk about this thing that they do for a living. Now, of course, they would love to run your ads for you. That's a whole different thing. Because we can talk about that
That's
on
like
a
that guy
separate podcast too.
Johnny. What was that guy Johnny?
Johnny Truant? Not Johnny Truant.
No. What was the dude that did the numbers? The numbers guy.
Yeah.
You guys
This
are
was a
talking
long
I
time
hired
ago.
him for
This
like
is
$500 a month for a while, and it was just like,
this is ancient history.
yeah,
type
this
guy.
is 10 years ago. Sorry.
Him and Hugh Howey were hanging out together.
Yeah.
What was his name?
And he disappeared for a while, and he came back.
Yeah, disappeared for a while, came back. I don't know what happened with that. But anyway, all that being said, so you can pay somebody to do your ads, but really your thing in prison maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the big thing is to do audience research. So there's actually a tool called SparkToro. And what it's really for is it's for businesses to do audience research on a large scale, right? Because it helps you find where your readers are and where people are talking about the things that you want to talk about that are related to your book. However, so that's what it's for. So it's relatively expensive, but you can buy monthly memberships. So you and a couple author friends get together.
Go, keep going.
And buy a monthly membership and use it for a month, and you've got the audience information that you need. The other place is Kalytics. They come out with these reports.
Oh, Kalytics, yeah.
For all these different genres, and it talks about what the different keywords and categories are, and you can use those in Google tools and even some of the cool AI tools that are out there now that are very good at data analysis. We can talk about those in another time as well. But SparkToro is really good at figuring out where people are talking about the things that you want to talk about as an author. And it helps you find your audience, and that's where you should spend your ad money, is where your audience is. Now, BookBub ads are better than they used to be. If you're on Amazon, you should probably be running some Amazon ads. You don't have to run them all the time. You don't have to run big money ones, but you can. There are people who have built careers on doing that. For some genres, Facebook ads are still doing exceptionally well, although the number one thing that Facebook ads are good for is lead generation. They're not as good for sending cold traffic to your website. That's
I like Publisher Rocket still. I'm 100% in. I love Publisher Rocket just for it's basic. It's focused on Amazon, but honestly, guys, people are still purchasing on Amazon. There's a huge. It's still in the high 70% market, right? Right now, as far as like. Yeah.
85,
did it go back up?
Still, I think.
Oh, it was down around 80, and I thought it was like kind of going but anyway, I put a link in the
Well,
chat
this is
for
it.
Publisher
That's in
Rocket
the
because it's
US.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
Publisher
the
Rocket
US,
is a
yeah,
great
yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the US,
At least it
80%.
tells you what keywords and what people are actually looking for.
Well, and those keywords work on places like Google Books. Now, your book should be on Google Play. Are you going to make money on Google Play? Nope. But
Nope.
Google keeps promising us that they're going to do something with Google Play Books. So I'm just making sure my books are there just in case they ever actually
Well,
follow through.
those
But I
those
think right
made
now they're
keywords.
$14
probably
on Google Play this month because I ran a
Well,
book
yeah.
club.
Well,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I
Well,
did
I will
good
tell
on
you, like
I did good on
those
Google Play
Publisher
this month
Rocket.
too, but there were like 3 Google employees that bought my book. I'm pretty sure they all work for Google. They just
Those
that's
Publisher
what
Rocket
they do.
They probably
keywords.
do it. They probably make sure like people buy it.
Those
Every now and
Publisher
then.
Rocket
There
keywords,
you go.
guys, just so you know, those keywords are not just good for just for your metadata. They're actually good for your ads. They'll help you figure out what to put in your ads, what to put in your, in your copy, in your social media posts and things like that. It's what people are going to be looking for. So it's not just about that. And that's kind of one of the least expensive ones, and it's a lifetime deal. But like I said, like it's just you got to go and you kind of have to get dirty. You kind of have to get your fingernails dirty. You have to kind of like dig in the dirt a little bit and try to figure out where people are at. And Troy, you and I mean, I'm gonna kind of do a wrap up here in a second. But one of the things I want everybody to walk away from today with is that knowing that it's not easy to be an author, but it is worth it. And it's one of those things that you do have to kind of just do the work to do. It's not one of those things that you can just put out there and say, okay, I'm going to get rich on this one book. It doesn't work like that. You have to keep working on your craft, keep improving, keep just refalling in love. It's one of those things about, when you get married, one of the things they talk about is your marriage can get stagnant if you just kind of expect that it's always going to be like the beginning, that passion that, is at the beginning.
Right,
it doesn't work like that. You have to kind of constantly refall in love with your work, and you have to refall in love with what you're doing. And so it's a good idea to just constantly find that passion and maybe that's one of the reasons why Vin goes to Florence, is because you go there and you fall back in love with the romance of the writing process. It's just one of those really important things that you should do as a writer. But that being said, it's also important that you understand that there's 2 parts to this. There's that creative part that is going to continue. People are going to always crave that creativity. They're going to crave the nature of humanness. Humanity is a big thing, people, and we want to feel connected with other people that are like us and that feel the same way we do. And books are a big social part of that. So those are not going to go away, but it's like Vin said, we've got to sift to the top of the pile and get above the crap and let the rest of the stuff just settle to the bottom. And the bottom feeders can eat that stuff. We want the quality readers. We want the people that will engage with us as authors and want to be our fans, right? And you can be successful, like Johnny said, you can be successful in this business with 100 to 1,000 fans, right?
Sure.
So you've got to find those fans, and finding those fans means utilizing some tools that are out there, doing some research and trial and error. And that's just the way it is. So I guess what do you guys see for 2026 as far as like how you want to get your fingernails dirty? What are some things that you guys want to see happen in the next year with your careers, and maybe that you think that authors should probably be looking for or looking at? What should be the mindset?
Troy, you're the master.
I think really
because my answer is going to be very different from yours, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because, although there's some things that might be similar, I think more Kickstarters.
Well, yeah, it will be similar, but I'm just saying.
I wanted to point out that one thing that if you look at like Vince's Kickstarters and stuff like that, like a lot of times it's 10 to 15 dedicated fans backing a Kickstarter that make it work.
Or 5.
Like or 5. Like you don't need 400 fans, 1,000 fans to make a Kickstarter successful, right?
Yeah.
No.
You just don't have to. It's just another avenue, and those people are going to get some really cool, really limited edition stuff that's fantastic. So I think a part of what I'm doing is first of all, I've done kind of a reset and gone back to my roots of like, why did I start writing in the first place? And what kind of stories did I want to write? And those are the kind of stories that I'm writing. So I'm revising an old series that's not always the most best advice for you to do. So I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm revising this old series because it's a backlist thing that is literally making me no money because I hate it. I wrote it with another author. I hate the books that he wrote. So I want to rekindle it and rewrite it
Good
as
for
the
you.
way I
If
want
you
it to be.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, for me, I want to fix it because now that I'm revisiting it again, I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. Right.
Right.
But I'm also like writing a bunch of new stuff and continuing with some series that I've been working on. So that's for my personal writing, but for other people, like I'm going to do webinars once a month, live webinars once a month, and I'm going to do some interviews with authors. Like when we were up at the writers retreat, I did an interview with a couple of authors that were up there with me, um, and kind of did some more of a journalistic, like some hard hitting questions of like, I want you to give me some hard answers to questions about like the writer life and what you're doing and stuff like that. And I think I'm going to interview a series of authors, probably only one a month, for this next year. With some of those a little more journalistic and in-depth approach. And there's more likely coming in 2027, but I'm working with a filmmaker guy and a producer, and we're working on a documentary about authors, and hopefully that'll be a next year thing as well. But all of those things is really
That's a
just a matter
great
of me
thing.
rekindling my own fire and then continuing to find a new audience for my work. Those are the two things I'm doing this year. But the things I'm going to do is I'm going to keep writing books. I'm going to keep publishing books. I'm going to keep editing books and helping other people tell their stories. That's what I'm going to do. That's this next year for me.
Okay, Vin, what's your beef in this?
Speaking of beef, I burned the beef I was braising with carrots and stuff like that. Because do you know why? Because I'm an idiot.
Oh
Oh,
no.
But I think I saved it. That's why I ran out. I'm
Okay.
like, because I
Okay.
could smell. I'm like, what's that
what's
dead
that
body
smell?
smell? What is that? Is there like a raccoon that's dead?
Raccoon. Oh my
Raccoon,
gosh.
that might be
Yeah,
good.
Beef
I
is
could grill that
valuable.
up. I
right.
could
Beef
So
grill
is
that
anyway,
up.
very valuable in
I do think
Italy.
I
Yeah.
saved it. I like,
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
anyway, I shushed it. Isn't that what you
Yeah.
say when you fix something? I
Shushed it.
Shushed
shushed it.
it.
When
Yes.
you don't
Yeah.
exactly have whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think at this point, I'm 61 years old. I've been in this game since 1999. I got my first huge deal. And it's not a misogynistic thing, but I got my first big deal right 6 months out of writing school when
Yeah.
everybody was like, he's nuts. He can inherit this huge company. He's crazy. Something happened with him. And it was one of the worst things that ever happened in my life because I didn't earn out $250,000 and I had to talk about getting your fingernails dirty. I had everybody in my position, most people would have just quit and
Right.
just
Hmm.
moved on. And that's
Right.
Yeah.
usually what would happen. But I hung in there, whatever. Anyway, I'm at the point now where kind of like Troy said, like I'm just gonna write what I want to write and have fun doing it. I'm reading what I
Yeah.
want to read. Um, I'm making a decent living. I'm not like making a huge living, but I'm making a decent living. I'm no longer freelancing. I'm not doing any of that anymore. So no more writing about like garage door openers.
Yeah.
None of that
Good.
stuff. But that
We've
stuff,
both done that. The
But
thing
that
however,
stuff
is,
probably paid the bills.
for you younger people out there,
It's good.
um,
It's good practice.
um, dismiss that stuff at your peril.
yeah.
Like it really, and it keeps you sharp.
Yeah. Keeps you
Exactly.
sharp.
Um, I'm allowing AI to come up with SEO keywords for my ads. And are they working? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've used I had the rocket thing and all that, and I've used that, and I can't tell the difference. And this is, guys, this is what I do for my ads. Every morning I wake up and I go to the Amazon Ads program or platform rather, and I put like $2 or $5 on one book, and that's it. I do very minimal advertising. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. I have no idea. I just don't believe in advertising that much because it comes out of your bottom line. But the reason I choose the Amazon platform is because that's where people go for books. If you go to Facebook, they're there to socialize and do whatever. They're not there for books. So I use Amazon. Otherwise, like I said before, I think the separation between traditional and indie is going to merge to the point, and it's happening now where it's just this is publishing. This is publishing. Like
Right.
there's no reason to make a difference. It's like, you can ask an author, oh, who brought that out? You can ask an author that, and they might be like, oh, through my own imprint. Oh, that's interesting. Or Simon Schuster brought it out, or whatever, or Delacorte brought it out.
But
But
you know what's funny?
eventually,
I don't think readers care.
no, they could care less what's on the spine. They could care less. Yeah, and in fact, this is interesting, and then I'll shut up. But I'm doing a Kickstarter now for a new book, and one of my sell points is that the ebook is going to have a Kickstarter cover,
Oh yeah, yeah. Its own
exclusive
special cover.
and I got that idea from Troy,
Yeah, it works.
and it does, and like people have, that's cool. But what I did was I have like Amazon's going to have one book, and Draft to Digital is going to have another kind of cover. Whether
Oh,
that is the right or wrong thing to do, but I'm going to keep it that way.
it's not a terrible idea.
It's not a good.
Yeah,
It's not a bad
It's
idea because then you can tell.
as easy as it
so there'll
is
be
to create different covers.
right.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
Yeah, so there'll
And
be two
unique covers
different
per
paperbacks.
platform.
Yeah,
That works. That
I'm
works.
The
going to
other
keep
thing
it.
that does is if it's pirated, you know exactly where it was pirated from.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. Well, I will say this. I mean, we'll end on this note. Just the outlook for publishing is, I think, good. I mean, like the need for human connection is not going to go away. That's always going
Right.
to be there, guys. And really, books are, like Troy and I've said this, we've chanted it basically, is that books are social. They are social. They're how we connect. It's how we actually experience this world that we live in ways that we probably couldn't otherwise. And so books are important. We learn lessons from them. We laugh, we cry, it's all those things. We develop other forms of entertainment like movies and TV shows from books. Like, books are important. But also, publishing is always changing. It is forever changing. It is forever morphing. So when you think that you've got an idea or a hold on what you think is going to happen, it will turn around and yank the rug right out from underneath you. So don't get upset when those changes happen, because they're going to.
True.
Just anticipate it, just expect it, and just roll with the punches, because that's just
Yeah.
what happens in this business. So, just keep a positive attitude, and constantly learn and grow from other people that are in the business with you, and we can all just screw up together and figure it out, because that's literally how this works.
Right.
And I'm in complete awe of authors, and I love them all. This is why I'm in this business in the first place, and I aspire to be one day. And I will tell you that, like, just working with you people that have the ability to not only put your words on paper, but then to finish a project.
Thank-
Well
That's the
done.
key. Thanks.
Well
Seriously.
done.
I
Well
will say
done.
one last thing. This has never been an easy business, ever.
No.
Not from the start. It has always, always, always been extremely difficult. And in fact, it was probably harder in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s than it is now, because then it get published. But it has always, always been a very, extremely, very difficult business.
Right.
And, very few people made a living from it. And it's still,
Yeah. So if you can
And
make a
there's-
few pennies
it's
from
the
it,
same-
then well done.
Yeah, it's the
Absolutely.
same, and a lot of people quit. And what I'll tell you is just
Don't quit. I'm going to say don't quit.
yeah,
you
don't
can
quit.
say don't quit. What I say is if you can quit, then maybe you should. I can't quit. I know Vince can't quit. Like
No
we've
way.
talked about it before. What in the world else would we do?
I
Like
can't
this
quit.
is a passion business, and if you can't quit, then hey, follow us, sit down and talk with us. Follow me, Vince.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Vince's Writer's Life over on the
Yeah,
YouTube.
Writer's Life on YouTube.
Thank you.
And follow us, and you know what I mean? Like, just keep going. Like, we're going to keep going. You can keep going with us.
You can just join our club.
Just join the club.
Join
we're
our
never
club.
going to promise you it's going to be easier or better or whatever. We're just going to say this has always been a difficult business, probably always will be.
Yeah.
So
but it's
come
worth
along
it
for the ride.
Troy, how many wives do we have between us?
Oh, damn. Don't say it.
I think we have 4 or 5.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you know, I'm telling you right now,
because it's a hard life, you guys. Even when you're
my
doing
partner
great,
right now is the most supportive person I have ever had in my life of my passion and my nuttiness for this career. But part of that is because she likes it.
I'm
she's
lucky.
Like, I not only understand it, I like it.
No, your husband's lucky.
You have to have a partner.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. Her husband likes it. I love, and her husband William. Is a great guy. He tolerates us.
He tolerates me way.
Like Stacy and I are nuts, and our spouses tolerate us incredibly. But we are.
My husband
nuts.
is the most patient person alive. I'm so grateful.
I'm gonna buy one of those robots.
Oh, me too. I want one too.
Hello, Vincent. How was your day? Are you going to write some more today? Because I made you dinner. You're looking so handsome today. In fact, you look hot. Why don't you put your feet up? Would you like a Prosecco? Oh. Yes. Yes, I would.
Before we go,
what? Still get pissed at me.
Before we go, probably will. The robot will get pissed. I have had enough. I am leaving you, Vincent. No,
it's like Star Trek. It's like Star Trek.
Freaking Data leaves Vincent. But one more thing. So we did have a comment in somewhere in the YouTube video about whose mustache is better, me or Vince's. So you guys vote.
I said mine. I said mine.
Look at this.
You don't have one, Stacy.
Oh. I know. Yeah. Look at. He's going full beard right now. So
that's because I'm away and I don't have any.
So I don't know.
Bush. I'm full bush right now.
Yeah, look.
This is me.
Oh, Stacy, you're so beautiful. That's awesome.
But
I know.
Vote in the YouTube comments. Vote in the YouTube comments. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vince still has some dark in his.
Yeah.
I have daughters, so that's fled my.
I have some nice gray going on too. So I'm proud of my gray.
Anyway, vote for us.
We love you guys. We thank you. Keep writing. Stay weird. Be kind. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you guys next week.
And Vince is giving you his blessing. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.